Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Athlete Profile Show here on Wisp Sports. This is Season 2, Episode 1, and I'm Chris Stafford. The Athlete Profile Show takes a closer look at an athlete and their career. And my guest today is Laura Kraihamer, who is an Austrian Motor Racing Driver, currently with KTM Racing as a factory driver, while she's also racing with the Giti Angels, an all-female team. Laura is in a strong position right now in her racing career with consistent results and poised for another good year as she helps develop a new GT4 car. Motorsports are very much in her bloodstream now, although she didn't inherit any motorsport genes. But her interest began when she was just 12 years old, and alongside her brother, she would spend days on the track besotted with the sport and knowing that that was what she wanted to do with her life. She took up go-kart racing for a few years, and at the age of 16, when she realized her options were limited with no finance to help her break into the sport, she took a break from the sport for 6 years. And when she was 22, she found her way back in and started professional racing. As Laura says, opportunities for women and attitudes towards them in the sport has changed in the last few years, and she's determined to make her mark while supporting women coming into the sport. Laura, thank you for joining me. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you were telling me that you have a day job as well as driving race cars. You combine two careers in a way, which works rather well. So give us a sense of where you are now and what you do when you're not in a car.
Yes, so I have the possibility to combine the studies I did in marketing and law with my racing career. I'm working for KTM as a marketing specialist. Yes, and I'm very lucky to do that.
So how much time do you get to drive then, say during the winter, when the off season, presumably?
Wow, it depends really on what is offered. I don't drive too much in off season, but honestly, off season these times is probably November, December, January. That's 3 months. Basically, it's not like it was a few years ago when off season was from September to April. It's turned around pretty much. So I could drive a lot during racing season between 28 and 30 weekends. And we know a race weekend is normally it begins on Wednesday and it ends Sunday night or Monday throughout the day. So yes, it's intense.
I was just going to say that. It is very, very intense, very concentrated for that period. You must be exhausted when it comes to the end of the season.
Yes and no. You know, the thing is, racing the job is exhausting at some point, but the racing itself gives me so much, you know. If you have something that makes you so happy, that gives a lot of energy back. And I wouldn't be able to do this at all if I wouldn't love to do this, because with the job I have to, you know, I have to do all my workouts and everything. I have to put them into 24 hours. So my day begins at 5 when I get up, and 5 a.m. of course, I get up and I start with my first training at 5:30, 6 a.m. Then I get into the company and I work, and in the evening we do a lot of simulator or analysis, or I watch races, or of course I have a private life. Sometimes I just meet friends and stuff. But during racing season itself, it's like work and racing. But that's fine because I chose, and I'm happy to be able to do this.
Yes, you're doing what you love doing. I want to go back a little bit to how it all began, though, Laura, because you started in go-kart racing, which is often the way we hear with race drivers, that they start, or certainly with women, that they start in go-karting. But was there a family interest in motor racing in any way? How did that initial interest start as a child?
Like my story is not a typical story. I would say there was no family interest or story in this. It's just my brother and I have always been fascinated by racing cars. And we've always spent, family holidays. If there was a kart track somewhere near, my parents used to bring us there, leave us there all day long. We would drive, but help the mechanics also, help the guests. And, we just loved being there. So we spent basically all the time there. And I was only 12 years old, which is pretty late, to be honest, to start with karting, which is the main entry into racing. As you mentioned, it is, of course. I was 12 when I had the possibility to first try out the kart, and then there was someone who said, "Oh, that doesn't look too bad what she is doing there," and I was able to start my first races, and I really enjoyed, and I really never really get rid of that racing scene anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really in your bloodstream now. But I'm curious, with girls getting into the sport, Laura, sometimes there's not the access, the opportunity that boys or men have. But it sounds like that wasn't the case with you. It sounds like they were as accepting of you as they were of your brother.
Yes and no. So for my parents never made a difference. Honestly, I've never felt anything from my parents that there would be a difference between my brother and me doing this sport. Not at all. They've never had doubts about it or anything. They've always been supportive. But being a woman in motorsport has become kind of popular in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years, and more accepted. 10 years ago, I can tell you this wasn't the case so much. So it wasn't that I started and everybody was happy to have me there. Not at all. I'm sure that at this time, comments about being a girl in motorsport or not being welcome or accepted, or people finding it funny or strange. I seemed strange to a lot of people. Why is she doing this? Why is she interested in this? So I had a lot of people questioning and looking kind of irritated when they saw me in racing. But this really changed a lot, honestly. Nowadays, I think there have been a lot of possibilities also opened. Like there are a lot of initiatives like Dare to Be Different from Susie Wolf and Fear Women in Motorsports, which are doing a lot to encourage young girls to enter the motorsports world.
Yes, that's very true. We've seen a complete shift, haven't we? And not just with the girls who want to be drivers, but also in the engineering side of things too. There's more opportunities there.
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of excellent engineers, and also now with the GT racing team, girls only, we are working only with girls, mechanics and engineers, all girls, honestly. And it's funny because it's very different to work with men and with women. It doesn't matter if it's as a driver, I think, or if you're working as a mechanic or engineer. It's just a different kind of work. And I have the feeling that a lot of men appreciate having a woman as a driver, or a lot of men appreciate having a mechanic or engineer, which is a woman,
Yeah. What do you find that's different and that you appreciate being on a woman's team? We talked about the Giti Angels. It's an all women, right? All women racing team, mechanics, engineers, drivers, all of just women. What do you feel as a woman is different for you? What do you get out of that that's different than you would if it was a men's or a mixed team?
The funny thing is, I think entering the GT team, for me, the biggest difference was probably that I felt so welcome from the first minute on. Like everything was so open, communicated, and so heartwarming, you know. With if I enter a men's team, you know, there's a lot of you gotta get to know each other, you got to get to read each other, you got to get to handle each other's emotions and everything. Racing is such an emotional sport, and it's difficult sometimes between men and women, we all know this, to handle emotions of the other person, get to know how they feel or how they work. If a lot of women who all love this sport get in one team, there's a very very intense dynamic which rises, which gives you immediately a very comfortable feeling. And that probably was the biggest difference now. It just was quicker than in the men's team.
Yeah, I'd imagine more support and a different kind of security, because you identify with the women and on an emotional level, as you said.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say more support, because I'm lucky enough to have men's teams which are incredibly supportive. It's just a different kind of support, and it's a way more emotional support, you know. It's you lean on somebody and feel comfortable in the first minute, you know. I wouldn't absolutely lean on my engineer from the first day on, you know what I mean?
Right,
It's
yes.
just different kind of this barrier which is there between man and woman is just not so much there, which makes it possible to get to know each other in a very, very short amount of time.
Tell us a little bit more about the Giti Angels and how this came about and how you became a part of it.
So the whole project started already last year when I was part of it only at, I would say not the end of the season, but after the 24-hour race. The project was started with the intention, of course, to show that the team containing only of women can be just as successful as a mixed team or a men's team. And the girls have had a hard start, I think, in the beginning, because funny enough, but this is still there, like this thought is still in motorsports. If a woman enters motorsports, people question how serious she's taking the whole thing. Whereas if a man enters as a driver, the question doesn't even really arise. It's funny, but that's the impression I have. So the girls have gone through, I think, a lot of, there were a lot of people smiling at the project, you know, thinking, yeah, that's a nice idea and it's sweet kind of thing. And I must say, I was surprised also, because I don't know too many women in motorsport, engineers and mechanics and so on. And for me, it's just amazing how they managed to gather all these women which are really good. Like the engineer I have is excellent, you know, together in this one team to grab all these girls, and how successful they can be, they have shown last year. That's not a question anymore. There's nobody not taking this project serious anymore from outside. Right. And I was lucky enough to know Carrie Schreiner, which was searching for a co-driver for the VLN 4 race last year. And she asked me if I want to be part, and KTM was super supportive and let me be part of the project. And the girls didn't know me at all. I didn't know the girls. I had never driven the car. I had never driven a front wheel car at all. So I did my first laps and I felt comfortable straight away. And I'm lucky enough to be part of the project now from the first minute on this year.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're the factory driver there at GT4. Tell us a little bit about what that involves then, Laura, once you are in the car. But how much do you do, within the team preparing before you get in the car? I'm just curious about that kind of schedule that you have there, preparing you to drive and getting to know the car and then racing it. What does that involve?
So the GT car, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, if in the GT team, I'm not like the factory driver because the factory I'm engaged for is KTM. So this is a lot of testing, a lot of finding out about cars, helping customers, a lot of these things. But in the GT car, I'm the one who is probably who knows least of the car, because Carrie has had a whole season in the car, and Cindy has Celia. Sorry, Celia has driven these cars quite a lot. So what I do is basically I prepare myself a lot in the simulator. Then I ask the girls for input, for help, for data analysis, for video analysis. The most important thing for me is they know the car. So everything from their knowledge that they can give me helps me to feel comfortable. And what is super nice is that Carrie and Celia are super supportive and sharing all this information, which is not always the case in motorsport. That drivers help each other. That's everybody's fighting for himself to a certain point. So that's great that we work together very well, and that's how we'll prepare. And at the end of the day, the team and the girls know very well how to handle the car. They are able to put the car on track with a very good setup. There are only small things we have to change or adjust, and this will be fine for us. We'll be fine with that.
Yeah, so it's a very different arrangement than when you're on the GT4. But as you said, you're the factory driver there at KTM, and that's a lot more analytical.
Yes, it's kind of analytical, but of course it's a lot there's always this analytical side, but still the fun side stays. I mean, I'm allowed to drive whole seasons with the other factory driver, Reini Kovler, which I learned a lot from as well. I had never imagined that I would get to a point to have this contract and be able to do this for work,
Yeah, it sounds like, your dreams come true to get that role. And so I know you've talked about, how intense it is, the job, and, the physical preparation as well, Laura, but how do you prepare for the mental game?
Yes, so the mental game is big in motorsports. You wouldn't imagine, I think probably, 70% of your performance are the mental part. I have worked with a mental coach for the first time last year because, throughout the season, if everything happens very fast, there are a lot of decisions to take. You do a lot of traveling, you do a lot of work, you don't get to sleep so much, you do a lot of physical training, and then you end up at the end of the season realizing that you can't even, your mind is not able to work through all the impressions that you get anymore. That's the impression I had. At the end, I couldn't even take and soak in everything I was able to get to know and to experience, because my mind was I was just like working.
Yeah, on overload, huh?
Yeah, that's it. And last year, then I decided to work with a mental coach, and this helped me immense, like a lot, because in the whole game of professional sports, there is so much pressure. And also, if you're a person who has high expectations on himself or herself, then you tend to forget why you started all this, the fun, it's just about trophies, lap times, stints, etc., etc. You just have to, and all this, if something doesn't work out like you wish it to work out, you get frustrated, and this costs you time. This makes you slow. Having fun, enjoying every lap you can take, and having a smile on your face, this is what makes you fast.
Yeah, because you're really relaxing into it and doing it for the reasons you have to remind yourself why you do it, I suppose.
Yeah. I just learned from myself to, go with, take certain good feelings of situations and just take them with me. But you have to do this. This just doesn't happen. It's like this. You have to work on that. You have to get some routines for yourself and focus on certain things. And if you have a coach helping you with that, that's very good, because it's hard to do on your own.
Yes. And I'm guessing then, if any young girls, young women are listening to this and thinking they would like to do this, you would recommend to getting a mental coach, a sports psychologist, to help in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, first of all, I think it's very important to learn to reflect yourself very well, to realize also that your maybe problem or anything you have, or what makes you slow, or where the fun has gone. Sometimes you don't even realize that you lost it, and having someone helping you is great, but I think it's only needed from a certain level on. We can do it, we can already prevent this a lot if we realize and just enjoy what we do more. How should I say it?
Get more out of it.
And be more aware of how much we enjoy to do this.
Yes. Well, as you said, there's more women now coming into the sport, so there's more visibility for young girls to see, role models and so on, and see that they can be this. They too can have a career in motor racing. But who were your heroes then, Laura? Who did you aspire to be? I mean, you mentioned Susie Wolff. I would imagine she was.
Yeah, Susie Wolff. I met her, and she's fascinating. But there are a lot of girls out there which have always fascinated myself, like Tatiana Calderon, Christina Nielsen, Catherine Ledge, Jamie Chadwick, Michaela Kotolinski. There are a lot of girls out there doing an amazing job. But of course, role models, it's not always that I've only searched for female role models, because for me, honestly, I've never really had the intention to be accepted as a woman in motorsport. I always wanted to be accepted as a driver, because the thing is, maybe as from my home, my parents have never made a difference. I was kind of surprised how big the difference is made by the motorsport world itself. For me, it's just we all like and love to drive cars fast. And it's not about being a woman or a man, although I'm very, very happy now that women are more accepted and more welcome, and there's a lot of possibilities more for young women to start motorsport. But for me, it's never really been a difference kind of thing. So I've had male role models as well, like of course Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, love Kimi Räikkönen, Danny Ricciardo. Oh, there's so many great racers with great personalities, and each one of them you can learn from.
Yes. Well, I would expect you to say Ayrton Senna.
Yeah, it's just, it's Ayrton Senna, of course. Niki Lauda,
And Nikki,
as an Austrian.
of course.
Niki, of course. Yeah.
Yes, so many names there, so many wonderful drivers, as you say, lots of inspiration to draw from. But when you look at your career so far then, and you're in a good place now, Laura, what would you say so far have been your, say, top 2 or 3 career highlights?
I think one of the career highlights certainly have been or has been the first win in car racing, because I've had a 6-year pause after stopping with karting because I just didn't have the money. We all know motorsports is very intense from financial point of view, and I just had to stop with 16 and didn't have a possibility to get into cars, and only started car racing with 22 again. And I thought I'd come into car racing and smash it, and this wasn't the case at all. I had a very hard year of learning, and then I won a championship in my second year of car racing, which was certainly one of my highlights because it got me kind of into the talk for KTM, which developed to a factory contract afterwards. Without them, I wouldn't be in racing anymore. And probably the second biggest career highlight would be, or second, I would say it's all the same stage, was winning 24 Hours Barcelona in my class last year, so 2019, with a prototype car in GTX class. And also in 2018, one of the most impressive experiences I've made also was 24-hour Nürburgring for the first time in the KTM with 3 other girls, Naomi Schiff, Rahel Frey, and Lena Stritzek. And for me, it was the first 24-hour race. And Rahel and me did double stints throughout the whole night. And it was raining, and it was foggy, and it was cold, and it was incredibly challenging. But I would say this and the 24 Hours of Barcelona were the races I probably learned as much as I do in 3 other races.
So you like these? So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because there's just so much to handle, and you get to know so much about the car, the track, but also yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and you seem to love these 24-hour races then. So that's a challenge in itself, the duration.
Yeah, I love them. 24 hours races are very special. You have to see one once to know about it. Kind of, it's the atmosphere. It's the challenges. You would think 24 hours is not long. You have no idea how long 24 hours can be. It's incredible. There are so many things to face. It's not only the driving, it's also between the driving. At one point everything starts to hurt. You have to get to sleep. You can't sleep. There are things happening in the night, and it starts. It's all unexpected. You don't see anything. There are crashes. There are injuries. It's just a lot of, you start to hear things that the car doesn't do just because you're already like 20 hours into the race and you want to finish, and then you're so sensible that you have the impression to hear a strange noise which is not there in fact. It's very special. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and you obviously love it because you're going to go back and do more then. It never puts you off, the challenges.
Yes, I'm so happy to be able to compete in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring with the girls and the GT racing team. It's just, it's a very special race, and it's something which has been, or is, I think, on the bucket list of pretty much every racing driver. To be able to go there a third time now with this new team and the new car is, for me, very special.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look ahead. What's happening this year for you then, Laura? And also, what's on your bucket list now?
So this year, I have to say there are some things in which we are planning, but they're not ready to talk about yet. But I can say it involves more women. So
Oh, good.
Yes, so that's great. So I'll have another year with KTM, that's for sure. Right now we are developing a lot of things, and we have to put a lot of energy in this, which I will be part of. Also, I have the 3 races plus the 24-hour race with the girls, which I am part of, luckily. And my September, October should be really intense with what KTM is planning. But I can't say more right now at this point. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. Now we will be watching now more closely. Now that you've been a guest here. Now, did I see somewhere you're going to be racing in Silverstone this spring?
I don't think so, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's, I don't think so, no. For now, I mean, I know end of February then.
Okay. Have you raced in Silverstone before?
Not yet. I would love to go there. I was there at Formula One, and the track is just legendary and very challenging track. And I would love to race there on my own. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my home track in Silverstone.
Really?
So, yeah. Not that I've raced.
Lucky.
I've been to Formula One there. Yeah.
Lucky you. We don't have too many tracks in Austria, but we have Red Bull Ring, which is an amazing track as well.
Red Bull, of course, yeah. Well, it sounds like you're at a very exciting time in your career now. Got good experience under your belt and know what you want to do going forward, and exciting opportunities for women in the sport too, Laura. So that's wonderful. I wish you the very, very best of luck with what you do. We will be following you now very closely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate.
Hi, I'm Nikki Daly. I'm an international field hockey player for Ireland, and I'm also a motorsport engineer. I'm a proud WISP ambassador because I am very passionate about women in sport, particularly in hockey and motorsport. I think WISP Sports is a fantastic platform. It promotes all women in sport from any level, right the way down through to grassroots level. And I think it's really important for young girls to be able to see their role models, to see that people are out there achieving great things at different levels in sport, and it gives them something to look up to and try to achieve themselves. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Nikki Daly, Instagram, Twitter, and under my Formula Female Instagram and Facebook as well for the motorsport side of what I do. Thanks for listening and helping WISP Sports turn up the volume on women in sport.
And if you'd like to follow Laura on social media or check out the websites and find out more about the Giti Angels racing team and Laura's career, then you'll find the notes on our website at wisports.com. Just go to the Listen tab and drop down to Athlete Profile. And whilst you're on the website, do take a look round at all the other shows we do here at WISP Sports. We cover all sports for women all over the world. And if you know of a story that we should be covering or an athlete we should feature, then do drop us a line to info@wisports.com, or you can join in the conversation anytime on social media by following us and sharing at WISP Sports. Until the next time, thanks for listening and helping us turn up the volume on women's sports.